Our last guy is someone that played before us. We never played with him. A legend. Tall, handsome. Crazy stories about him. You know,
crazy
urban
stories.
legends about like he would only have
El Doubles.
El Doubles. What is
We're
that?
not saying what the El Doubles mean.
I don't even know what that means.
What type of El Doubles they were. But I heard the word in the street was El Doubles only or nothing.
What does El Double mean?
Not just one, but two, Jules.
El Doubles.
He was so good looking, he wouldn't allow just one.
El Double it is.
He would allow two only. I mean, that's just a word on the street.
That's the word on the street.
That's the urban myth. And let me tell you, it was my rookie year when I heard that urban myth. And man, did I think it was one of the coolest things I've ever heard. I wanted to be like this guy more than anyone else, man.
El Double Tony Gonzalez.
I mean, I already kind of know already from the beginning what category he fits in, but we'll wait till the end.
What's our co-pilot say, Rob?
Let's see what our co-pilot says about Tony. The good old Tony Gonzalez. He basically has every record in the record book at number one for a tight end.
Played a long time.
For a tight end position.
Keep it for the time limit. We'll keep it for the time limit.
They're talking about, keep it for the time limit. All right. Hit the time limit now. We're going to start the time limit when the co-pilot starts.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Better.
We're taking off. Co-pilot, check your engines. Check. Engines on. Tony Gonzalez was a highly skilled and versatile tight end in American football. Known for his exceptional receiving abilities, he was renowned, right? That was the right word again? Renowned. Hey, they use this word twice now. I mean, you know.
That's not good English skills by AI.
That's not good. We're smarter than co-pilot. For his precise route running, reliable hands, and athleticism. Over his career, Gonzalez became one of the greatest tight ends in NFL history. Earning 14 Pro Bowl selections. Let me put this stat into perspective. I've only played 11 football seasons in my career. 14 Pro Bowl selections.
Jesus, timeless. Latin don't crack, baby.
They don't. And numerous records for receptions and receiving yards at his position, including the tight end touchdown record as well. I think he has like 126 touchdowns. Actually, no. Antonio Gates holds that record.
Antonio Gates?
Yeah, he does. My bad. But Tony Gonzalez holds every other record. All right. His ability to contribute both as a receiver and a blocker made him a key asset to any offense. And that's the truth. He played for two teams. He was an absolute legend with the Kansas City Chiefs. And then he went to like the Atlanta Falcons at like what, 33, 34 years old?
And still bald.
And still bald at that age. I remember Coach Belichick. We played the Falcons a couple of times when I was a rookie, second year, third year player. And all he did was circle Tony Gonzalez and said, we have to stop this guy. If we want to win, if we want to have, you know, the ability to have a chance, if the defense wants to perform well, we have to stop Tony Gonzalez. We got to jam him off the line. He makes contested catches, so you got to follow through with the play. You know, make sure he doesn't get up and jump over you. Make sure he doesn't turn and get that ball. You got to follow every move he makes from the start of the play to the end of the play. And you got to double cover him.
You got to.
You got to.
I loved him, though, because
oh my gosh.
I remember at Berkeley, he was playing basketball, dunking on dudes. Like, he was a fucking athlete. He's one of the first, like, athletic tight ends, like pure athlete tight ends that the game has seen. He
was so smooth, and he was one of the first ever to start that tradition of, hey, a basketball player, a power forward can play in the NFL at the tight end position. And he played basketball at Cal, so shout out to the Pac-10. He played in the Pac-10.
R.I.P.
I played in the Pac-10, yes. Rest in peace to the whole Pac-12 conference.
I didn't get to play in the Pac-10, but keep going, R.I.P.
Yeah. He made it to the Sweet 16 at the University of California. And in 2002, he played in the NBA Summer League as well for the Miami Heat. That's just the type of athlete Tony Gonzalez was. And I feel like that's kind of why he was the player he was and why he was so durable too, because he had that basketball background. I feel like basketball players sustain their athleticism and skill set way longer than football players. They're way more fluid. They're way more flexible.
Flexibility.
They're so much more smooth. I feel like
less muscle is sometimes better for that.
It is. And I feel like football players trained well No, I mean, trained the wrong way.
You trained too hard.
We trained too hard, made us too stiff. And that's what made him the player that he was, because he trained like a basketball player.
He just was smooth always. He always looked smooth. Apparently the urban legend is that he's smooth off the field as well. But, whenever you saw him go up and catch a ball, like in slow motion, it almost looked like he was a dancer, like with how effortless and light he was on his feet for such a big dude. And then him always dunking the football on the goalpost is something that I remember through my childhood and early on in my career when he was at the later part of his career that he did all the time.
And kind of like that football, the basketball transition to the NFL. I feel like the guy was so durable as well. He missed 2 games in his career?
Yeah.
Played how many seasons?
He only missed 2 games?
18 seasons? How many seasons did he play? 18, 19, 20?
He missed how many games?
It was something ridiculous.
That's insane.
It was just nuts. He was just an absolute animal. So smooth, so athletic, and he was great off the field too. One of the best looking guys I've ever seen. Still to this day.
Handsome. He still looks like he can play.
I was watching him on Thursday Night Football last night. But he's a great analyst as well. He just speaks the truth. He gives his insight. He's great for Amazon. And he was looking tan, shiny, handsome.
He had that white outfit on with he had that French kind of thing going.
Hairdo was on point.
Hair has always been on point. Tony Gonzalez has had spectacular. And it seems like it hasn't colored.
I bet this guy would walk into a club or bar in the middle of his heydays, and he wouldn't even have to say a word, and the frickin' janitors would have to come out and put those signs that say, "Caution, wet." Don't slip.
He is that
because
good looking.
He got all the girls' panties going. There's no doubt. He didn't even have to say a word. He would just walk in. That's the type of swag Tony Gonzalez has.
He was that good looking and
he was
swaggy aura.
And it translated to the field as well. His play was just a good looking.
Rob, what are some of the things that you tried to emulate from Tony's game?
Just overall, he was a complete tight end as well. It wasn't the greatest blocker of all time, but he did it. He exemplified what being a tight end was, He wouldn't pancake guys, but he would get in the way. He would move guys. He was willing to block. That's kind of what made him so great. Just as a kid, Tony Gonzalez was one of my heroes growing up. I remember in Buffalo, when I was there growing up, I was in high school. The Bills weren't that good, but there was a chance that Tony Gonzalez was about to get traded to the Buffalo Bills, because he eventually did get traded to the Atlanta Falcons. And there's always talk because he was always on such crappy teams in Kansas City. And he always performed. He always produced. And that's what made him so great. But there was always trade talks as well at the end of his career with Kansas City for 5 years because he wanted to go win. And I remember our whole entire high school was talking about Tony Gonzalez going to the Buffalo Bills. Just how excited we all were because Tony Gonzalez was going to possibly get traded. It just never happened.
Could you imagine high school version of Rob and his boys in Buffalo Tony Gonzalez is here. We're back to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, exactly. That was exactly how it went.
Oh, my God.
It is true.
He really did evolve. I think he's one of the huge figures or guys that help evolve the tight end position in that 90s window. Now, there was great tight ends, the Winslows and the Dickas in the back of the day. Those were really great tight ends, but it was kind of like those guys put their hand in the dirt and, they were just kind of like an extension of the run game that sometimes went out to catch a pass. Tony Gonzalez, he became, I remember watching him, which we used to do a lot with you, putting him outside the formation in the red area and saying, hey, we're just going to play jump ball with our tight end. Mm-hmm. I don't remember that before Tony Gonzalez, and I'm sure people are going to hit us in the comment sections with a bunch of guys that did. But for my era of football that I grew up with, that's what I remember. Tony Gonzalez just always having the ball in his hand, always doubled, finding a way, super savvy route runner, space guy because of basketball. It's very similar to basketball in space. He was great at the space. And then, the guy was just freaking good looking.
He was good looking. That was a great way to end that. that phrase of just everything you said about
Could
him.
you imagine? He'd probably be considered one of the best. Because they say one of the best with Tony Gonzalez. If he had if he had a Super Bowl, would he be the best?
I feel like that not winning the Super Bowl is definitely hindering him.
Yeah.
It kind of sucks because he did everything possible and then more every single year.
Every year.
It was like
For a long time.
It wasn't like he had I think he led the league in receptions one year in 2004, 102 catches. Like, when was the last time a tight end led the league in receptions? And like the next year he would have 95 receptions. The next year he would have 85. The next year he would have whatever, 90 more again. Like, he was so freaking consistent and he never won a championship. Like, that's a tough situation to be in. That's sad. That kind of sucks as a player to play that long and be that consistent and just never been on the right team.
Yeah.
He kind of almost won one with Atlanta. I think they went, to the playoffs a couple of times, but that was when we were in our era. You weren't going to beat us Patriots.
No.
But that just sucks, having little team success and always just giving it your all and always showing up. And it's hindering him, I would say, in the tight end rankings. People say, oh, Gronk, which is myself, Kelsey, Tony Gonzalez is always up there, but I see people not put him in their top 5 before. Like,
That's crazy.
There's Antonio Gates.
And that,
well, it's Mike Ditka, they say. And
Winslow.
Yeah, Winslow. But Tony Gonzalez exemplified what being a tight end is. He's the
Especially
one,
nowadays.
He's the one that made being a tight end cool to younger kids like myself.
I mean, he was such a badass in Kansas City. His rookie year, he had a flu game, a Jordan-type flu game where he balled the fuck out, managed to catch a touchdown pass, and he credited the performance to eating some chicken soup. Like, how smooth is this guy?
Well, what food gives you superpower, Jules? Chicken soup was Tony Gonzalez's superpower.
I would say tomato soup. I'm more of a tomato soup guy.
I feel like you were the English muffin with sausage. Egg, cheese, sausage, English muffin. I remember every single day you ate that, and it was like giving you your superpower.
I'd have a smoothie at 5, and then I'd have my right before team meeting, sausage, egg, and cheese.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah,
Sausage,
that
egg,
was
and
your
cheese.
superpower.
Love a sausage.
Tomato
egg,
soup? I never seen you have tomato soup, buddy.
I love tomato soup.
Yeah, I never seen you eat it.
But I was just trying to reference because of soup.
Yeah, but you never eat tomato soup.
Did you have a favorite pregame soup superpower?
Yeah, I did. I always had my chocolate milk with a peanut butter and jelly, and the jelly was my mom's homemade jelly.
What's a homemade jelly?
Jam.
What kind of fruit?
Strawberry jam.
Your mom made homemade jam?
Yeah, it's the best strawberry jelly ever.
I remember you came over with that chicken buffalo dip or whatever.
That was good
With
too.
Ritz crackers, and that's what you dip it in?
She made that as well. Stop talking about my mom.
Let's get on to.
That's what dudes do, though. Dudes do talk about moms, though. I mean, so
all the time.
I guess so. I mean, you're giving her props, so I guess you can keep talking about my mom.
I ain't saying anything sideways about
you're
Mama
not,
Gronk.
but I know where you go.
Anything
I know where you go.
Get out of here.
Mrs. Edelman, I love her. I just saw her. You remember at the live show?
Yeah.
That was cool. But your dad was there, so I couldn't get a little inappropriate.
10 minutes.
So 10 minutes is up.
And what kind of dude is Tony Gonzalez?
This one was easy. I mean, he's like I said, he's a dude's dude. He's a dog. He's a freak. But the most characteristic that Tony Gonzalez exemplifies is definitely on and off the field, big time, like no doubt about it. He's a freaking stud. Man. He's a stud.
Stud at everything he does. Basketball, football, analyst.
Breaking every record.
Bar settings, he's probably a stud.
Yeah. Super stud.
Super stud.
He's like that horse that you you go out and you mate it.
Yeah, you get that stud come.
Yeah. He's a stud. He's the stud horse. I wonder if he has a thing as big as a horse too. Cause yeah, he's a stud. I'm not gonna try and imagine that, but I would probably say so.
But you just imagined it.
Yeah, I would probably say so. That's just Tony. He's such a stud. Stud muffin. He's like every muffin too. Stud muffin. He's a blueberry muffin. He's a cinnamon muffin. He's the regular muffin. What other muffins are there?
I like a lemon
banana
poppy
muffin.
seed.
Yeah, lemon poppy seed. He's a poppy seed. He makes those girls like feel like they're numb. Yeah. Because that's what poppy seeds do, don't they? They give you a high, like morphine high. If you eat enough,
I think that's where they make heroin from, but
Yeah,
I don't think
that's
it's
what
from. I don't think that's from the muffin though.
No, it's from the poppy seeds.
Yeah, but like I think there's like a real extensive.
That's why he's a
extraction
lemon poppy seed. Yeah, but he is the extraction.